This week, we're going to use up all of these scraps of fabric and turn them into something new, a new yard of fabric that we can use for other projects. I've cut all of my scraps into rectangles, more or less, and I'm going to spread them out to make yardage of fabric. Now, one thing I think I want to point out is these are all somewhat similar in weight. Like some of them are a little bit heavier than others, but these are, you want to, when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you have at least a somewhat similar weight fabric. And I recommend only like doing knit fabrics together and woven fabrics together and not mixing them. And the other thing is to try to remember to keep the grain line as straight as possible. With all these scraps, it's probably never going to be entirely exact, but just keeping it close will be good. But yeah, my next step is to lay these out and make some fabric yardage. So this is how I laid out my fabric yardage. It's kind of approximated. Obviously, I still need to iron some of this stuff, but I'll do that before I sew it and make sure that the corners are squared and whatnot. But this is what it looks like. This should end up being about 1.5 yards of fabric that I can use for another project. So the next step is to start sewing it together. So my bunny decided to lay down on my fabric. Isn't she so cute? This is my bunny. Here. So what I did was I have all of these little pieces here and here. Oops, I'm sorry, baby. I have a piece here, a piece here, and so you get all of the little pieces kind of sewn together, and then you sew them all together to make the whole big mess of the yardage. So it turns out I have more scraps than I thought, so I had enough to kind of split them into 2 groups. So as I was laying out, I decided that I kind of wanted to switch them into one that's the dark blue colors and then one that's the light blue color and the ones that have more other colors in them. So I should come out of this with 2 different fabrics that I can work with. So what I do on this is the back here that I'm showing you. So you'll see you don't have any of the raw seams. So I do a flat felled seam here. Okay, so let me show you the felled seam that I was talking about. So I have this seam sewn here, see? And I pressed both sides of the fabric in the same direction. So they're both pressed this way. So what I'm going to do first is pull this back a little bit and trim this side. So what we're going to do is now fold this one so that it is now encasing the other seam. I'm going to fold it like this all the way down, and you'll press it and then sew it. So you'll press this in place and then you're going to sew along the edge of there. So it'll be visible on the front side. So you can think about what color thread you want to use. And this is the finished second yardage of fabric. Both my new fabrics ended up being about 1.5 yards by 45 inches wide.